standing beside me, two of the most underrated tag teams here in the Carolinas, the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws and the Brutes. Lewis, you were telling me earlier, what is this proposition you have for the Brutes tonight?
I'm going to tell you how it is. And you were right. The Brutes and the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws are the two most underrated tag teams right here in Mid-Atlantic. And tonight, right here in Elizabethtown, Brutes, we don't have nothing against you. But we do share one thing in common, and we love a good old-fashioned fight. And tonight, may the best man win.
Mark, do you have anything to add to that? Jimmy?
Outlaws, we've been up and down the roads against each other, and we fought all over this state. And brothers, tonight's going to be no different. I know you're not going to hold anything back. We're definitely not going to hold anything back. But we're both going to prove who the best tag teams in the Mid-Atlantic area is right here, Elizabethtown, North Carolina.
The training of these poor creatures to turn themselves into fighting machines is simply barbaric. 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 Let that word resound from hill to hill. Barbaric.
Welcome to Midnight Mayhem. Tonight, two of the best and most underrated tag teams here in the Mid-Atlantic and the Carolina region. That's right, we've got the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. That man you see right there, Matt Houston, and his partner, Lewis Moore. We've seen them on Midnight Mayhem before. We've seen them take on folks such as the Gorilla Squad. We've seen them have some very interesting matchups, and don't let their looks fool you. These two men are fantastic professional wrestlers. And the people that they're taking on tonight, Jimmy Parker, Mark James, these two men are known as the Brutes. Both of these men, huge mountains of man. I'm really excited to see this matchup, a very old school style tag team matchup. I am predicting, because both of these tag teams are very well versed in the art of professional wrestling, the art of tag team wrestling. We're going to see a lot of quick tags, some very I don't think that we're going to have a very flashy match out of both teams. I think we're going to have more of a hard-hitting and gritty style out of both teams. Mark James, Jimmy Parker, Lewis Moore, Matt Houston. 4 men in the ring. Let's see who they pick for each team to start off this matchup. Now, folks, if you're wanting to see live professional wrestling, January 30th, 2016, at Ziggy's by the Sea, that's in Wilmington, North Carolina, you're going to have a great professional wrestling show that night. Come on out. It's going to be a live TV taping for Midnight Mayhem. You're going to see some fantastic matchups. And speaking of matchups, this one is underway between Jimmy Parker and Lewis Moore, the first two men of each team. Jimmy Parker's going to have to utilize, he's got a bit of a size advantage on Lewis Moore. Moore trying to slow down the matchup. I'm not sure if he's ready to start against Jimmy Parker. Strong collar, elbow tie-up. Jimmy Parker utilizing strength to his advantage and throwing Lewis Moore across the ring. Moore didn't know what hit him right there. Look, Lewis thinking that he was going to start off an easy matchup right here, and Lewis Moore already a little confused, and Lewis Moore looking to tie up once again. Jimmy Parker off the ropes over Lewis Moore. Lewis Moore over Jimmy Parker, and Parker using a shoulder, and Lewis Moore once again outside the ring. The Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, known for controlling the pace of a matchup. They know. And Lewis Moore letting his emotions run a little wild, throwing a chair into the ring. We're seeing a little bit of bedlam here on Midnight Mayhem already. Lewis Moore, maybe a little bit of a prima donna, I'm saying, in this team of the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. And here comes somebody that's not a prima donna. One of my favorite professional wrestlers, a very underrated professional wrestler. Don't let that big old round belly confuse you or fool you. This man, Matt Houston, knows what to do in the ring. Matt Houston knows to avoid Jimmy Parker right now. He wants Mark James. Here comes James. Matt Houston does not want any of Mark James either. Both of these men getting a game plan together. You know, an embrace can rejuvenate the senses. Oh, and Houston pointing to his belly. He's got a belly. That's where his strength comes from. Trying for this test of strength. Now, I don't know, Mr. Houston, if this is the right move, but he utilized it to his advantage. Matt Houston knew that Mark James, who prides himself in going to the gym and working out and being a mountain of a man, he prides himself, and he knew that pride would take over, and Matt Houston took that to his advantage once again. Mark James trying all he can to fight back to his feet. Now, if you see Mark James right there, he's got some athletic tape on his thigh region. Now, maybe, you know, both of these tag teams traveling all over the Carolinas, he might be, you know, not 100%. Houston taking out Moore in the corner. All it takes is just one move from Mark James, that big man, to take out two of his opponents. Matt Houston just feeling it in his face right there. And he doesn't have all of his teeth, so it's not like he has any protection up there. Mark James being very polite, very cordial, inviting Matt Houston back into the middle of the ring. Matt Houston being a little tepid when it comes to getting back into this matchup. Not very sure if he wants to take on Mark James. Strong collar elbow tie-up. And Matt Houston using that strength to force James to the corner, but James fighting out of the corner. It's not going to be a 2-on-1 matchup to his disadvantage right now. He was able to use it to his advantage, tagging in Jimmy Parker. The Brutes have been tagging for a while together, and they know where each other are in the ring at all times, able to utilize some tag team maneuvers, some team-ups on Matt Houston right now. And quick tags. Quick tags always trying to keep a fresh man in. Jimmy Parker tagging in Mark James once again. Look what Mark James and Jimmy Parker just focusing on a body part on Houston. And you see that he was using his fingers to drill into the AC joint of Matt Houston. If Matt Houston doesn't have an arm, he's not going to be able to tag in his partner Lewis Moore. He's not going to be able to do a lot of things in professional wrestling. Going back to the midsection of Mark James. Tagging in Lewis Moore and a big hip toss. And Lewis Moore maybe not very happy that he got tagged in right there. Jimmy Parker to the midsection of Lewis Moore. Moore off the ropes. Parker meeting him with an elbow. Only a 2 count. And look at how Jimmy Parker just grabs under the chin of Lewis Moore, going for the wrist area of Lewis Moore right there. These little things these very intricate things right here are adding a lot of pain to Lewis Moore right now. And the quick tags, both men knowing where each other are in the ring. Here's another team-up maneuver. A huge splash in the corner. Jimmy Parker. And a big boot by Mark James. Lewis Moore, hunch drunk. Not knowing where he is right now. Kicking out at 2, though. You got to give it to Lewis Moore and the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. They're tenacious. Mark James once again distracted by Houston, and Moore able to utilize that knee to the face in the first pin attempt on the Brutes. Now we're seeing the pendulum swing, and the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws utilizing a quick tag. Tagging in Houston. Houston drilling his knee into the back of Mark James. Going for the full 5 count. Matt Houston knows what is going to cause a lot of pain on Mark James. And he's going to try to go for it. Once again, another pin attempt. Going for that rear chinlock. Folks, we're going to have to take a break when we come back. Welcome back to Midnight Mayhem. Houston still working on Mark James. Mark James trying to figure a way out of this hold to get to his tag team partner, Jimmy Parker. The Brutes against the Mid-Atlantics. This is a special matchup on Midnight Mayhem. The first time we've seen these two tag teams work against each other. And I'm liking what I'm seeing. Mark James off the ropes. Houston, look at Houston. You don't see a big man like that getting ups. I'm pretty proud of Matt Houston right now. Tagging in Lewis Moore. Moore stomping with no remorse on Mark James. Working on the left arm of James. Maybe hanging out that shoulder and arm out to dry right there. And Lewis Moore stopping Mark James from getting the tag of Jimmy Parker. And here comes Matt Houston. James off the ropes, both men. Huge shoulder block, double shoulder block by the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. And Matt Houston getting a little cocky. He's feeling this momentum swing to the favor of the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. And he thought, maybe a little bit too big for his britches, going for Jimmy Parker. But now that I think about it, that maneuver right there caused a distraction on the ref, and they were able to get a good tag team maneuver in together against Mark James. And a blind tag. Well, blind to the ref, excuse me. So Lewis Moore is the, quote, legal man in, and I say it in a sarcastic way. You know, he wasn't in the corner when they got the tag, and now that is a legal tag. Both men going for that double team suplex maneuver right there. Houston going for the cover. Mark James kicking out. Mark James still in the matchup for the Brutes. Going back to the left arm of Mark James. Now we saw earlier in the matchup, they were working on the left arm of Matt Houston. The Mid-Atlantic Outlaws are giving the Brutes a taste of their own medicine. Working on the shoulder and AC joint of Mark James. Mark James rolling out, reversing the pressure. And here comes Mark James trying to get some sort of offense in on Houston. Houston off the ropes. Mark James telegraphing it. And Houston able to get another tag in on Lewis Moore. Moore using his head, going to the shoulder of Mark James. And look at just the meanness of the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. They're like sharks when they smell blood. They sense a feeding frenzy on Mark James right now, and they're going to try any which way they can to injure that left arm and left shoulder area of Mark James. Knife edge chop and a big right hand. Knife edge chop and another big right hand from Lewis Moore. Lewis Moore and Mark James, a right hand of his own. Mark James, a knife edge chop of his own. A little bit more power behind his than Lewis Moore's a few seconds ago. Some oomph behind it. Mark James is a big man. Here comes James to the corner, blocked by Lewis Moore. Mark trying any way he can to get that tag in, but Lewis Moore blocking it and getting a tag in of his own. Here comes Matt Houston. The Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, a well-oiled machine right here on Midnight Mayhem. Folks, if you like what you're seeing, find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Midnight Mayhem, CW21. We've got all the updates, a lot of old episodes. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got everything. Our thoughts out to Wally Rogers, our web guy right now. He's going through some medical stuff. Thinking about you, Wallace Rogers. Both been trying to once again go for some sort of suplex maneuver, and Mark James reversing it, showing that he may be hurting right now, but he still has the strength to take on the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws. Somehow, Mark James is going to have to get up and tag in Jimmy Parker. We have not seen Parker in this matchup for maybe a good 5 minutes. Mark James knows that this is his only chance right now. And here comes Jimmy Parker with the tag. Parker taking on Houston right now. Lewis Moore, unbeknownst to Parker, up top. Parker able to sense it, and a shot to the midsection of Lewis Moore. Lewis Moore off the corner, off the ropes. Throwing him. Just hammering down blows on Houston. Lewis Moore. The numbers game. The numbers game right there. Finally got Jimmy Parker. Both of these men, the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws, once again back to James. James, who has been a little bit injured in this matchup so far. James under it. Huge spine buster from James. You think the tank is on E, but Mark James just pulling. Jimmy Parker with a huge super kick. This could be it for the Brutes right here. The Brutes know that this is their time. Matt Houston up on the shoulders of Mark James, a big knee lift, and an Alabama slam. 1, 2, 3, your winners. The Brutes on Midnight Mayhem, a great matchup, folks. I am excited that we got to show you that matchup today. A very hard-fought victory for the Brutes, folks. And remember, January 30th, 2016, Ziggy's by the Sea in Wilmington, North Carolina. You're going to see a great show, folks. I cannot wait to tape this professional wrestling show. The Brutes. Thank you for watching. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Midnight Mayhem CW21, and we'll see you next week.
The training of these poor creatures to turn themselves into fighting machines is simply barbaric. barbaric. Barbaric! Barbaric! Let that word resound from hill to hill. Barbaric.
Jimmy Parker, you proved that you guys are better than the Mid-Atlantic Outlaws tonight. What do you have to say about that?
You know, Aaron, tonight, I have to start with giving them props. The Outlaws are just what they say they are, one of the best teams around the Mid-Atlantic. But, with that said, tonight was the Brutes night. We showed everybody, just like we do every night, power, speed, we can wrestle, we can fight, we can do it all. So respect to the Outlaws, but everyone will always do what we say they do, and that is bow to the Brutes.
Hold on, guys.
Tonight, yeah, right here in Elizabethtown, you two were the better team. And we're a man of our word, me and Matt Houston both, and we're here to shake your hand. But just know, there'll be another night.
The training of these poor creatures to turn themselves into fighting machines